Hey guys, good morning. It's Saturday, November 10th, and you might be wondering what I'm doing right now. Well, I would be walking back a mile to my car. Maybe I'm exaggerating on a mile, but quite a distance to get my son's baseball caps for his tournament. And you see why it might be a little frustrating, is because I've already had to walk back another time to get the waters that he forgot in the car. Because, he always has everything. When I ask him, you got everything you need? Yes, sir. So now I gotta walk to the cool bubble with the indoor tournament. Can you see that bubble thing? Anyway, it's basically an indoor, it's a cross field, but over across the way, you got a mega sports complex. But a lot to talk about today, guys. Some very sincere. That is something I think we all need to think about. Some frustration with a specific leader, and then a proud moment for me as a dad, the way I see things. So it's a sunny day. It's only about 40 degrees, very windy here in Pennsylvania. My son's baseball team has an indoor tournament today. They've got 3 games between now and 4 o'clock, so it's going to be a long day here at this indoor arena. But I wanted to touch on a few things. First of all, it's funny how things on the journey give me a new appreciation for things that, I might have reacted to before, but not quite the same way. So our country is, once again, in California, dealing with natural disaster of this forest fires that have taken, I think the news said, 9 lives thus far. So certainly prayers and wishes go out to those folks out there. And how that connects to the journey is a couple of ways. First of all, not only say a prayer for the people that are evacuating our buildings, but please say a prayer and have in your thoughts those people fighting the fire. One of the neatest people I met on my journey was a gentleman named Nathan Lilly. And Nathan used to be an actual on-the-ground firefighter. Now he's kind of a IT genius that kind of tracks the fires and helps these guys try to target, and with data he's able to track movement, speed, things like that, and able to help to try to put these out. I haven't spoken to him recently, but I know throughout the country these guys were on call, and so I'm sure Nathan is out there helping out and dealing with this in some capacity. So there's a certain direct correlation I have. I've now met somebody that does this for a living, and you don't fully appreciate what they go through. He shared some stories with me that was just pretty phenomenal. Secondarily, when I was out in the Phoenix area, and Susan was taking me up to Grand Canyon, her ex had told me about a monument to 19 Arizona firefighters that lost their lives. A movie called Only the Brave was made about them. And that monument was one of my more emotional days. And these gentlemen lost their lives doing exactly what we have people out there doing right now. So certainly prayers go out to them with that. One of the, not odd stories, but just a fact, but kind of a strange story. A U.S. Soccer team, our Olympic soccer team, and not Olympic, but our not professional, I guess, our U.S. soccer team had a gentleman named Eric Ronaldo on it. And Eric, that story goes, he was doing I guess he's a sportscaster now, but he had gotten a bang on his door to evacuate his home. And by the time he got to his in-laws, his friend was texting him saying, "I'm sorry, man." And he's like, hopefully everything will be okay. He goes, "No, I'm watching your house burn down as we speak." So in this one neighborhood, a fireball exploded next to his house and took his house down. Imagine sitting there watching your home on TV go up in flames. So that was kind of nuts. So certainly, please guys, give some thought to everybody that's either have lost their lives, families of, people that are losing their homes or evacuating their homes, people that are fighting the fire on our behalf. So I want to give our thoughts there. On the down note, it always strikes me as odd, and I learned, for those of you that have been following me, my journey was triggered because of my daughter repeating words I heard back to me. I had repeated words back to me that I had said. on more than one occasion. And one of the lessons I learned is how important is what people say. Let me try to get inside. It's cold as heck out with this wind. I'll get inside the doors here. But one of the things I learned is what's the words I'm looking for? You know, we say words, and I think we don't realize the power of words. I've learned on this journey through the Amanda Todd legacy. I've learned it firsthand. Well, of course, I go looking through my phone as I do for news, and there's the very first story. Our fearless leader is blaming poor forestry or poor something. My point is, why is it got to be blamed? It's exhausting, man. I'm really, really getting tired of our president as a leader blaming. He's always got to be blaming somebody for something. Don't worry about it. Good, man. So it's just ridiculous to me that it seems in a time when we're having tragedy and forest fires out there, our fearless leader, who should be leading by example, is still out there placing blame. It's just mind-boggling to me. Can we please stop placing blame on every damn thing in the world? That really bothered me a little bit. It's exhausting. On the note of passing blame, you know, one of the things that to me is crazy. Those of you again that followed me knows that I follow a certain radio show, the Ben Maller Show. His producer, Justin Cooper. I follow him on Twitter. He had pointed something out that I heard from him for the first time, so I'll give him the credit. And that was that a couple years ago, we had this tragedy in Las Vegas about the shooting at a country concert. Well, some people that survived that shooting were in this borderline nightclub that went down the other day. I think one might have lost their lives. Can you imagine a world in which you don't just have to dodge once in your life a madman taking out people for no reason, but a second time you have to do that? Can you imagine a world in which we live in which you survive one maniac and you're trying to go out and enjoy a show with some friends, and yet another maniac goes out there? I'm not here to argue caravans and things like that, but the mentally ill, the mentally deranged are all over in every race, color, religion. And I mean, just imagine that. You know, it's almost like getting hit by lightning 2 times. It's crazy to think about. And that was eye-opening to me. So, and on that note, I saw maybe a tweet or a text or a Facebook post or something by this, again, maniac's the only word I could use, that went into borderline and did this. But as warped as it is, there was some truth in it. He basically was kind of laughing along the lines of saying, you know, how ironic it would be that people called him crazy or whatever they did. In the sense that, but his words rang true. Every time we have one of these mass shootings at a school or anything else, what do we get inundated with? We get inundated with people like me and you and me and everybody else saying, hey, prayers and thoughts go with you. And how ironic that we give prayers and thoughts, but we don't do a whole lot more than that in any other way to prevent this. I don't know. Again, I'm going to point the thumb at myself. I have done nothing, nor do I even know what to do to battle. You know, is it a mental illness issue? Is it a gun control issue? I don't have the answers. I don't know. But, you know, I'm sure my thoughts and prayers are heartfelt. But at the end of the day, what do they really do? They really don't do a whole lot, quite frankly. And I just thought there was some truth in what this crazy person has said. And I think I have to kind of think about that a little bit. What impact am I having? What good is my thoughts and condolences or prayers doing for any of the victims? Or going forward proactively, how is it helping anything going forward? So it's great that I care enough to give my prayers and thoughts, but at the end of the day, what is it doing to prevent the next mass shooting? I don't know. So as deranged as this person is, there was some truth in his post. So, and I'm going to take it over a different way now to something personal that I was real proud of and happy about. So yesterday was a rainy day. cold, dreary night. I had the fireplace on, and I ran out to get pizza. So I had the kids at home, left them at home while I ran out real quick to get some pizza. But when I came home, I was so touched. And here's why. It's little things like this that mean something to me. But when I came home, for once my kids weren't on their tablet. They weren't playing video games. They had the TV on, and my son was watching a U.S. Air Force Thunderbird air show. And Dad, you got to watch this with me. I mean, how many 9-year-olds, given a choice, are putting on an air show? Now, I know he's been exposed to that through the U.S. Navy Blue Angels and myself, but I loved it. I was real proud that, you know, he's not watching SpongeBob or Teen Titans or whatever was going on. This 9-year-old kid's watching an air show, which obviously a memory Sandy and I have shared, but I thought that was very cool. And then after that, his sister, 12, asked for the remote. And you know what she puts on? She puts on the Broadway play Hamilton and some of the songs. Now again, you know I've been away for quite a while from them. And I said, babe, what are you listening to? How did you hear about this? This is a Broadway play about, you know, a political figure in the 1700s, for crying out loud. She said, I don't know, I just started watching it and I love the songs and you know, I said, what do you know about the story? And she went into literally a 20-minute dissertation on the story, the things I didn't even know about. And I'm like, did anyone tell you about this? She goes, no, I just picked it up by watching the news. So, you know, I want to be real happy that, you know, given a choice to play video games or to you know, watch meaningless drivel, both my kids had chosen to watch something that had some meaning behind it, whether it was a memory of us or something to learn about. And I was just real happy about that. And these are the kind of things that make me, you know, want to hug my kids something fierce sometimes. Now, don't get me wrong, they watch drivel quite often, but it was neat to see. So again, guys, I will say, you know, thoughts and prayers with these people. I do feel a little bit connected to some. I see these wildfires in a completely different light now. And anyway, so I want to share with you guys. I love you. Have a great Saturday, and I'll be here at the ballpark, the indoor ballpark all day. So have a great Saturday. Thanks for following. I have a few other updates, but I'll save them for tomorrow. Okay. So have a great day, guys. Love you. Bye bye.